On a brutal, stormy night, a man crushed by life lay abandoned at the freezing entrance of the hospital. Everyone turned their backs. Everyone followed the rules. But she defied the system. In seconds, Nurse Emily Norton's life changed. Forever. Ridiculed, humiliated, called the homeless people's nurse. Her career shattered by a single act of compassion. What she never expected was that the dirty, bloodied homeless man was actually a billionaire on a secret mission. And he had just found exactly what he was looking for. This story will break your heart before making you believe again in the power of human kindness. St. Vincent's Hospital. White walls, cold corridors. A factory for treating diseases, not people. And then there was Emily Norton, 32 years old. Brown hair always tied back. Green eyes that seemed to feel the pain of every patient. Not just a nurse, a warrior of compassion in a battlefield of indifference. Her shift ended at 7 p.m. But Emily, she never left on time. There was always an elderly person needing comfort, a frightened child, a lonely patient. When she finally returned home, to a tiny, suffocating apartment in the outskirts, her second shift began. Her mother, Martha, 68, slowly wasting away with a relentless disease that devoured their savings. Expensive medications, overdue bills, the constant fear of eviction. Emily carried the weight of the world on her delicate shoulders. On that fateful winter night, the sky was pouring with fury. The winds cut like knives. The emergency intercom rang. "Emily," Vanessa's bored voice echoed. "There's a homeless guy at the entrance. I've already called security to kick him out." Something exploded inside Emily. "Does he need medical attention?" "Probably. But you know the rules. No ID, no insurance, no treatment. The rules. Always those damn rules." "I'm coming down. Now." Emily rushed through the corridors, ignoring the judgmental looks. At the entrance, she found him. A man, maybe 50 years old, soaked, violently shivering, a deep cut on his forehead, gushing blood. Her heart raced. Without hesitation, Emily knelt in the puddle of dirty water. "Sir, can you hear me? I'm Emily, a nurse. I'm going to help you." The man briefly opened his eyes, a piercing look that seemed to see right through to her soul, then passed out again. Emily tore off her own lab coat and covered him. "I need a stretcher here, now!" The security guards exchanged glances. "Nurse Norton, you know we can't." "He'll die of hypothermia in less than an hour," Emily shouted, a fierceness emerging from deep within her. "I'll take responsibility." That split-second decision would change her life forever. What Emily didn't know, this man wasn't who he seemed to be. And fate was just beginning to weave its surprising web. Emily worked frantically. Her skilled hands cleaned, sutured, applied medications. Sweat dripped down her forehead. Nobody helped. Nobody. The emergency door flew open with a bang. Dr. Mitchell, the medical director. The white-coated executioner, Nurse Norton. His voice cut through the air like an ice blade. "What the hell is this?" Emily's stomach tightened. Her legs weakened, but her voice remained steady. "A patient in critical condition, doctor." Dr. Mitchell adjusted his glasses, looking at the unconscious man as if he were trash. "Who's going to pay for this?" His accusing finger pointed at the medications. Wasted resources that could have been used on legitimate patients. Legitimate. The word hit Emily like a slap in the face. "He's a human being." The words exploded from her mouth before she could hold them back. "Don't give me that bleeding heart nonsense, Norton." The doctor's face turned red with anger. "This hospital runs on rules. You're not a doctor to be making decisions." Outside, the room, the audience grew. Hungry looks craving drama. malicious smiles. Tomorrow, administrative board. Formal warning! Dr. Mitchell spat before leaving, the door left wide open so everyone could witness Emily's humiliation. The following days were hell. Whispers followed her through the corridors. There goes the homeless people's nurse. I heard she blew over $1,000 in medications on that bum. He took off the next morning, probably stole equipment. The formal warning came like a death sentence for her career: insubordination and unauthorized use of hospital resources. The worst moment? When Dr. Mitchell called her to assist with a local politician. Norton, if this patient starts feeling unwell, don't mistake him for one of your charity projects. This one actually contributes to society. The patient laughed. The doctors laughed. Emily felt tears burning her eyes. A tsunami of humiliation threatened to drown her, but she wouldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing her cry. Ever. At night, in her cramped apartment, Martha was waiting. Her mother's eyes, now sunken in a face consumed by disease, still saw everything. What happened, sweetheart? You look crushed. Emily forced a smile, her heart bleeding inside. Just a tough day, Mom. Martha held her daughter's hands. Fragile fingers, but with surprising strength. You've always taken care of everyone, my daughter. Your heart has always been bigger than the world. A tear escaped. Emily quickly swallowed it back. And sometimes, it seems like the world wants to punish exactly that, Mom. That night, alone in her narrow bed, Emily questioned everything. Maybe the system was too strong. Maybe Dr. Mitchell was right. Maybe there was no place for people like her in a world that valued protocols above people. 2 weeks of psychological torture. Emily entered the hospital, head down, trying to be invisible. Impossible. The stairs followed her like predators. Suddenly, a commotion at the reception. An impressive man. Tall. Impeccable suit that screamed money. The posture of someone used to being obeyed. I'm looking for Emily Norton. His voice resonated through the lobby like distant thunder. Emily's heart froze. A chill ran up her spine. Who was he? Why was he looking for her? Instead of approaching, Emily hid behind a column. From there, she watched as the man left an envelope and walked out, with determined steps like someone who commands the world. Someone was looking for me? Emily asked Vanessa later, pretending not to know. A very elegant man. Vanessa's eyes sparkled with poisonous curiosity. Didn't seem like the type who frequents this hospital, more the kind from St. Francis. The elite hospital in town. Martha's eyes looked straight through Emily. Because I know the world, sweetheart. A world that punishes those who still see humanity in others. Emily kept the envelope in her pocket, feeling it burn against her body all day. Only in the empty locker room, hands shaking, did she open it. Not all gestures are forgotten. You didn't know me, had no obligation, but still looked at me like a human being. That's worth more than 1,000 protocols. May you never stop being who you are. Thank you. No signature. Emily's heart pounded against her chest. Could it be possible? Was that elegant man the same one she had helped? Wild theories invaded her mind on the way home. Maybe he was an executive who had been robbed. Maybe he was going through a rough patch. Maybe. At home, Martha was asleep in the armchair. Paler, more fragile. Wasting away a little more each day. The next morning, Dr. Mitchell called for her. His falsely casual tone didn't fool Emily. Norton, I need to speak with you. My office, 5 minutes. The hallway to his office felt like death row. It's come to my attention that you received a visitor yesterday. A man specifically asking for you. Emily felt ice spreading through her veins. Yes, but I didn't meet him. He only left a thank you card. Dr. Mitchell leaned forward, eyes sharp as blades. The homeless guy. And now he shows up well-dressed, looking for you. Don't you find that curious? The insinuation was disgusting. What exactly are you suggesting, doctor? Emily's voice shook with indignation. I know your financial situation is desperate, Norton. Your sick mother, your loan problems. Emily choked. How do you know about? Desperate people sometimes make reckless decisions. Get involved with the wrong types of people. The room seemed to spin. The humiliation now had a new level. They were implying she was prostituting herself. Are you accusing me of something? Emily almost shouted. Dr. Mitchell smiled, a shark smile. By the way, you're summoned to an extraordinary meeting with the board tomorrow at 10 a.m. The floor collapsed beneath Emily's feet. A meeting with the board meant only one thing: firing. If I were you, I'd start considering other career options, Norton. This isn't a place for martyrs. This is a system, and those who don't adapt get replaced. Emily left the office, dignity intact on the outside, shattered within. The night was filled with terrible nightmares. Emily woke up drenched in cold sweat. While getting dressed, her hands trembled so much she could barely button her blouse. She chose her best clothes, armor against the humiliation to come. Martha, with mother's eyes that see everything, noticed immediately. What's with the fancy outfit? Something happened, didn't it? Emily sighed. Impossible to lie to Martha. It's just an evaluation meeting, Mom. I might have to look for another job. It's because of that man you helped, isn't it? The homeless one. Emily froze. How did you know? Because I know the world, dear. A world that punishes those who still see humanity in others. Martha held her daughter's hand, fingers thin and fragile like dry twigs. Remember your father? How he always stopped to help strangers on the road? How he never drove past someone in need? Emily felt tears burning in her eyes. I remember, and I also remember how he died poor, working 3 jobs. And do you remember him ever regretting it? Emily shook her head. Never. Because he knew what truly matters in this life. Whatever the outcome today, remember, you will never be wrong for doing what's right. Martha's words were like balm on an open wound. At the E hospital, the humiliation began even before the meeting. On the bulletin board, her name exposed publicly. Extraordinary meeting, board, 10 a.m. Subject, professional conduct review, Nurse E. Norton. Stares pierced her back as she walked through the corridors. At 9:45, the final blow. Dr. Mitchell and Laura Clark, the administrative director, a woman with a heart of stone, called her to a private room. Nurse Norton, we're offering you an opportunity. Laura's voice was as sweet as poison. A paper slid across the table. A voluntary resignation letter, already dated. You sign it, we accept it, and we all go our separate ways without further embarrassment. Emily's blood boiled with indignation. You're asking me to quit before the meeting even happens? A graceful exit, Norton. No record of termination for cause. My situation? What exactly is my situation? Dr. Mitchell attacked mercilessly. You defied protocols, ignored the hierarchy, used resources without authorization, and now you appear to be involved with a former patient of questionable origin. This is absurd, Emily exploded. I saved a life. The relationship was just an anonymous thank you card. Laura Clark smiled coldly. St. Vincent's Hospital is not a charity center nor a shelter for the homeless. So the hospital's mission is profit, not saving lives? The mission is sustainability, corrected Dr. Mitchell. Without financial viability, there are no beds, medications, or salaries. Emily stared at the resignation document. Signing would mean surrender. It would mean they were right. I won't sign. If you want to fire me, you'll have to do it officially. Dr. Mitchell looked at her like someone looking at a naive child. Think about your mother, Norton. How much she depends on you. Heroism doesn't pay bills or buy medicine. The blow hit Emily at her most vulnerable point. For a moment, her legs wavered. 10 o'clock then, she managed to say before leaving. Emily's life was crumbling like a house of cards. Martha's health was plummeting. The new medications cost a fortune, almost 3 times her monthly salary. Without them, Martha suffered excruciating pain, her muscles atrophying, her breathing becoming increasingly difficult. "We're sorry, but we cannot offer a discount," the pharmacy attendants repeated, their mechanical voices, uninterested in the human desperation on the other end of the line. The door to the conference room opened again. All eyes turned. A tall, elegant man entered, radiating power and confidence. "Sorry I'm late." His voice was deep, authoritative. Traffic was a nightmare. Emily recognized him instantly. The mysterious man from the envelope. Now, up close, she noticed details. Piercing blue eyes, gray hair at the temples, an almost imperceptible scar on his left eyebrow. Then came the letter that made Emily's world completely implode, an eviction notice, 30 days to leave or buy the apartment. At the bank, Emily begged for a loan. She had prepared a mountain of documents, a payment plan that would tie up almost her entire salary. "I'm sorry, Miss Norton." The manager barely looked at her. "Your credit history shows restrictions. Besides, the instability of your employment represents a risk." Emily choked. "Instability? I've worked at St. Vincent's Hospital for over 5 years. According to our information, you're under a conduct review process, which may result in termination." How had that information reached the bank so quickly? Was it possible that Dr. Mitchell had gone that far in his campaign to destroy her? "Is there no alternative? My mother is sick. We'll lose our home." You could present a cosigner or some asset as collateral. Emily had nothing and no one. In the following days, she looked for apartments in increasingly dangerous neighborhoods. Even in these places, doors closed. No cosigner, no deposit, no contract. Martha was visibly getting worse. On the morning of the decisive meeting, Emily had to help her with basic tasks: dressing, eating, bathing. "You should go to work," Martha insisted, her voice weak, just a whisper of what it once was. "Your important meeting. I still have time." Emily adjusted the pillow. "Did you take your medicine?" Martha nodded. "What's left of it? The blue bottle ran out yesterday." The blue bottle, the anti-inflammatory that reduced pain. Without it, Martha would spend the day in agony. "Emily," Martha called when her daughter was already at the door. "No matter what happens today, know that I'm proud of you, of who you are, of the choices you make." In the hospital parking lot, Emily found an envelope under the windshield wiper. Shaking hands, she opened it right there. A person's true worth reveals itself in moments of greatest adversity. Stay true to who you are. The answers you seek are closer than you think. Again, unsigned. The same elegant handwriting. Inside the hospital, Teresa, a young nurse, approached furtively. "Emily, a group of us signed a letter supporting you. We don't know if it'll make any difference, but we wanted you to know that not everyone here agrees with the treatment you're receiving." A ray of light amid the darkness. As she walked to the fateful meeting, her phone vibrated. "Your mother had a pain crisis. I called the doctor. He said we need the new medications urgently." The world collapsed. On any other day, Emily would rush home. But today, with her career hanging by a thread, she didn't have that option. With a shattered heart, she opened the conference room door exactly at 10 o'clock. The door to the conference room opened again. All eyes turned. A tall, elegant man entered, radiating power and confidence. "Sorry I'm late." His voice was deep, authoritative. Traffic was a nightmare. Emily recognized him instantly, the mysterious man from the envelope. Now, up close, she noticed details. Piercing blue eyes, gray hair at the temples, an almost imperceptible scar on his left eyebrow. Dr. Harris, the CEO, stood up visibly disturbed. "Sir, this is a private meeting," the man smiled, a confident smile. Dr. Lawrence Harris, CEO for 7 years, Johns Hopkins graduate, Harvard specialization. He extended his hand. "Mark Thompson, I received my email confirming my participation. Correct?" The room froze. "Mr. Thompson, the representative from the investment group." "Exactly." A murmur swept through the room. The air became electric. Laura Clark tried to regain control. "Mr. Thompson, this is an internal human resources matter." "Ms. Clark," Thompson interrupted smoothly, "when a group is about to invest $50 million, I believe all matters become relevant. Wouldn't you agree?" The number caused a visible shock. $50 million, Dr. Harris gulped. "Obviously, Mr. Thompson, your presence is welcome. We were just beginning the review of Nurse Norton's case, who violated important protocols." Thompson leaned forward. "Interesting. And what was the outcome of this violation? Any harm to the patient? Lawsuits? Significant losses?" Dr. Mitchell hurried. "The immediate result isn't the issue, Mr. Thompson. It's the principle. If we allow staff to ignore protocols, we'll have chaos." "I see," Thompson reclined. "Order above all, even if it means denying care to someone in urgent need." "I wouldn't characterize it that way," Laura protested. "We have procedures for social emergency cases. That would have taken how long? An hour? For someone in severe hypothermia, with deep cuts and developing infection?" The silence was deafening. "Mr. Thompson," Emily finally spoke, "how do you know these specific details?" All eyes turned to her. Mark Thompson smiled, a smile that transformed his face. "Because I was the patient, Ms. Norton. The homeless man you so compassionately saved. That stormy night, the revelation fell like a bomb." Dr. Mitchell turned pale. Laura Clark looked like she was choking. "But how? Why?" Emily stammered. Thompson walked to the window, looking at the city for a moment. "For the past 3 years, I've been conducting a social research project. As CEO of Thompson Healthcare Group, I began questioning whether our healthcare system really works for those who need it most. Thompson Healthcare, a billion-dollar hospital empire. I decided to conduct an experiment. Disguised as a vulnerable person, I sought care at various hospitals. The result was devastating." Thompson placed a small device on the table. "This camera recorded everything. In 27 hospitals visited, I received basic care in only 3. In none was I treated with the dignity I found in Nurse Norton's hands." He pressed a button. Shocking images appeared on the wall. Emily kneeling beside him, covering him with her lab coat, ordering a stretcher, treating his wounds with respect, but also the aftermath, the malicious comments, Dr. Mitchell's reprimand, the systematic humiliation. "My team also collected these," continued Thompson, showing documents. "Emails discussing how to use the Norton incident to reduce nursing staff. Memos from Dr. Mitchell discouraging emergency treatments to improve the operating margin, Dr." Harris choked. "Mr. Thompson, these recordings were obtained without consent, which makes them inadmissible. In court, perhaps, but perfectly acceptable for an investment board deciding where to allocate resources, or for the press, always interested in stories about hospitals prioritizing profit over lives." The threat hung in the air like a predator. Thompson's face softened. Laura Clark changed tactics instantly. "Mr. Thompson, obviously there's been a misunderstanding. Our intention was never to punish Nurse Norton for showing compassion." "Spare me the corporate rhetoric," Thompson cut in. "I was there, feeling firsthand how your optimization treats human beings. He turned to Emily. When you found me, I wasn't actually homeless. It was part of the experiment, although the injuries were real, an accident during transit. But I wasn't just researching. I was searching. Searching for what? Emily asked, her voice a whisper. Hospitals to transform. And people like you, professionals who haven't lost sight of the true essence of healthcare. Thompson pulled out a contract with his logo. This is a preliminary contract for partial acquisition of St. Vincent's Hospital. $50 million initially, with potential expansion to $75 million over the next 3 years. Dr. Harris devoured the document with his eyes, but Thompson raised his hand. With some non-negotiable conditions. The silence was absolute. First, Emily Norton will be immediately promoted to Director of Quality and Humanization of Care, with autonomy to implement changes in protocols. Emily felt the floor spin. Second, Dr. Mitchell will be removed from administrative functions, returning exclusively to medical practice under supervision. Dr. Mitchell's face turned purple with anger. Third, 20% of the initial investment will be directed to creating a fund for patients without health insurance coverage. Dr. Harris calculated quickly. These conditions are unusual, Mr. Thompson, but I believe we can reach an agreement. I'm not negotiating, Dr. Harris. I'm informing. The contract will be sent today. I expect signature within 48 hours, or I'll withdraw the offer completely. The firmness in Thompson's words left no room for discussion. Ms. Norton, I'd like to speak privately. There are other matters to discuss. In the hallway, Emily finally found her voice. Mr. Thompson, I don't understand. Why me? Why all this? Thompson smiled sincerely. Because in a broken system, I found someone who still remembers the true purpose of medicine. And that, Ms. Norton, is infinitely more valuable than any protocol or profit margin. I have a proposal for you, said Thompson. But first, how is your mother? Emily turned pale. How do you know about Martha? Part of my research involved thoroughly learning about professionals who stood out. I know about her condition, your difficulties, the eviction notice. My mother isn't well, Emily confessed, remembering the message. She had a pain crisis today. Thompson took out his phone. Carl, Mark here. I need you and Dr. Sanchez to go immediately to this address. He recited Emily's address perfectly. Patient named Martha Norton needing urgent care. Bring the complete kit. We're on our way. Why? Emily asked, overwhelmed. Why are you doing all this? Thompson's face softened. 15 years ago, my wife Lisa suffered a serious accident. We were taken to a hospital similar to this one. Efficient, technological, impersonal. She received the correct technical procedures, but no compassion. No one looked into her eyes. No one held her hand while she was dying. His voice choked. I promised myself I'd do something about it. That I'd try to change the system from the inside out. At Emily's apartment, a surprise. Martha was chatting animatedly with an elegant doctor. Darling, why did you never tell me about this kind friend of yours? Martha seemed like a different person. Dr. Sanchez has already adjusted my medication, and the pain vanished like magic, Thompson explained discreetly. I brought the new medications your mother needs. They're advanced formulations developed by our laboratory, not yet commercially available. In the kitchen, Carl was methodically organizing several boxes of medications, a pharmaceutical treasure that would cost tens of thousands of dollars. Emily, Thompson spoke softly. The hospital humanization project I mentioned isn't a vague idea. It's a revolutionary program we've already implemented in 3 hospitals. He showed impressive charts on his tablet. Recovery rate 27% higher, 32% reduction in hospital stay duration, patient satisfaction at record levels, and the most surprising part, 18% increase in profitability. And you want me to Coordinate this at St. Vincent's? Emily's voice trembled. I want you to lead the national implementation, Thompson corrected, starting with St. Vincent's as the pilot project. Emily felt the world spin. Mark, I'm just a nurse. I don't have an MBA, I don't have management experience. Lisa, my wife, used to say there are two categories of knowledge, what can be taught and what needs to be felt. Thompson smiled melancholically. I can hire dozens of Harvard MBAs, but I can't teach genuine compassion. The doorbell echoed through the apartment. A professional-looking man entered. Mr. Rodriguez is an architect, explained Thompson. He's going to adapt the apartment to facilitate your mother's mobility. Emily shook her head, dazed. This is too much. I can't accept such generosity. Thompson put his hand on her shoulder. Emily, the generosity was yours that night. All I'm doing is acknowledging it. Besides, you saved my life. The injuries were more serious than I realized. The infection would have entered my bloodstream within hours if you hadn't intervened. The following days were a whirlwind. The contract with St. Vincent's Hospital was signed in record time. Dr. Mitchell was transferred to clinical research, far from patients. Laura Clark disappeared overnight. Emily received a new title, Executive Director of Quality and Humanization. Her first act. New protocols ensuring care for any person in emergency, regardless of their financial situation. The day of the Martha Norton Wing inauguration dawned glorious. The sun shone like a blessing over the new structure attached to St. Vincent's Hospital. Martha Norton, now with surprisingly better mobility, sat in the front row. Beside her, Emily waited nervously, unrecognizable in her elegant navy blue suit, hair loose, framing her radiant face. Dr. Harris took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're not just inaugurating a new physical space, but celebrating a revolution in how we view healthcare. He looked directly at Emily. The apartment underwent a complete transformation. Walls torn down, cutting-edge medical equipment. Under Dr. Sanchez's care, Martha improved dramatically. 2 weeks after the fateful meeting, Teresa knocked on Emily's new office door. "May I come in, Director?" she joked, smiling. "Please, none of that director business." Emily laughed. "I'm still getting used to it." Teresa brought a folder. "I heard you're forming your humanization team. I want to apply." Emily smiled. "Your name was already at the top of my list. You were one of the few who stayed true to principles when it cost dearly." The transformations at St. Vincent's Hospital were miraculous. In just 3 months, the hospital became a reference in humanized care. The old slogan, technical excellence, was replaced by human excellence in healthcare. The project Emily was most proud of was the new wing dedicated to patients without health insurance. To the shock of the former administration, the wing not only operated without deficit, but attracted million-dollar donations. 6 months later, Mark Thompson visited the hospital for an evaluation. He toured each department, talking with patients and staff. "Impressive," he commented in the newly inaugurated therapeutic garden. "You've exceeded all expectations, Emily." "I had an excellent team," she responded modestly. "And resources most administrators can only dream of." Thompson smiled. "Resources without vision are just wasted money. You brought the vision." That night, during dinner, Thompson handed Emily an elegant envelope. Inside were architectural plans for a new construction. The new hospital wing that will be inaugurated next month. Emily examined the documents, and her heart stopped. Martha Norton Humanized Care Wing. "You're naming the wing in honor of my mother?" Thompson nodded. "Your mother is the reason you became who you are. She represents the values we want to perpetuate." Emily felt hot tears in her eyes. "There's one more thing," continued Thompson, taking a small velvet box from his pocket. Opening it, he revealed a delicate ring with a sapphire surrounded by diamonds. "Emily Norton in the last 6 months. You've transformed my life in ways I never thought possible since I lost Lisa. I didn't plan this, didn't expect this, but I found in you not just an exceptional professional, but an extraordinary woman." Emily's world froze in that instant. "I don't expect an answer right now. I know it may seem sudden, but I'd like you to consider a future together, not as CEO and director, but as Mark and Emily." The day of the Martha Norton Wing inauguration dawned. Glorious. The sun shone like a blessing over the new structure attached to St. Vincent's Hospital. Martha Norton, now with surprisingly better mobility, sat in the front row. Beside her, Emily waited nervously, unrecognizable in her elegant navy blue suit, hair loose framing her radiant face. Dr. Harris took the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, today we're not just inaugurating a new physical space, but celebrating a revolution in how we view healthcare." He looked directly at Emily. A year ago, our institution had lost something fundamental: humanity. We were reminded that true medicine isn't just made with cutting-edge equipment, but with attentive eyes, gentle hands, and open hearts. Mark Thompson took the stage, commanding in his perfect suit. "When we decided to invest in St. Vincent's Hospital, we weren't just looking for a business opportunity. We were seeking a partner who could lead a necessary change throughout the healthcare system." Martha was invited to join them. With surprisingly steady steps for someone who months before could barely stand, she walked to the microphone. "I never imagined my name would be on a building," she began, drawing laughter from the audience. "Actually, I never imagined I would live to see this day. A year ago, we were on the edge of despair. Me, sick, my daughter, about to lose everything for doing what was right." Her eyes shone with tears as she looked at Emily. "My daughter has always been special. Since she was little, she could see what was invisible to most: the dignity in every human being, regardless of their condition." She turned to Thompson. And then, when everything seemed lost, this remarkable man appeared, who not only saw the same things my daughter did, but had the means to transform that vision into reality. The three stood side by side as Martha concluded, "This place isn't just a hospital. It's a reminder that kindness breeds. Kindness, that compassion can transform entire institutions, and that a single act of humanity can trigger a revolution." The moment to unveil the plaque arrived. The bronze inscription gleamed. "Martha Norton Humanized Care Wing, where technique meets compassion and medicine rediscovers its soul. Inaugurated April 15th, 2023. The applause was deafening. Flashes captured the moment when Mark Thompson held Emily's hand, the delicate sapphire and diamond rings sparkling on her finger. During the reception, Teresa approached Emily. "From homeless people's nurse to executive director and future Mrs. Thompson. Your career took an interesting turn, Emily." Emily laughed, remembering how that nickname had been used to hurt her. "Life has a peculiar sense of humor, doesn't it?" Across the garden, Martha was chatting animatedly with Dr. Sanchez. She seemed younger, more vibrant, as if the improvement in her health had awakened a new vital energy. Mark Thompson joined Emily, bringing champagne. "A penny for your thoughts," he offered. Emily smiled, observing the scene around her. The transformed hospital, the smiling patients, her recovered mother. "I was thinking about how life can completely change in a moment, how a single decision can trigger a sequence of events that transforms everything." Mark nodded. "That stormy night, if you had simply followed the protocol, or if you hadn't decided to conduct your social experiment, destiny, coincidence, divine purpose?" Thompson reflected. "Whatever the explanation, I'm grateful for it every day." "By the way," Mark commented, "the press is calling our story The Homeless Man and the Nurse Romance. It's generating more interest than the inauguration itself." Emily laughed. "They've turned our story into a modern fairy tale. Has all the elements, doesn't it? The compassionate nurse, the homeless man who was actually a disguised prince, the transformation, the happy ending. Except it's not the ending, Emily corrected, intertwining her fingers with his. It's just the beginning of something much bigger. 3 months later, Emily and Mark got married in the therapeutic garden. Instead of traditional gifts, they requested donations to expand the humanization program to hospitals in underserved regions. During their wedding vows, they renewed their commitment not just to each other, but to the vision they shared, transforming the healthcare system, one hospital at a time, one life at a time. An elderly woman approached shyly after the ceremony, extending a small package. I was hospitalized here when you two met. I saw everything. I saw how you treated him when nobody else cared. The woman revealed a small wooden sculpture, 2 intertwined hands. My late husband was a wood carver. This was the last piece he made. I always wanted to give it to someone who truly deserved it, someone whose hands make a difference in the world. Emily accepted the gift with tears in her eyes, the perfect symbol for her journey. That night, on the terrace of the reception hall, Emily and Mark contemplated the city lights. A year ago, I was struggling to survive, trapped in a system that punished compassion. And now you're leading a silent revolution in that same system, Mark completed. Emily turned to him, her eyes shining with renewed determination. There's still so much to do. So many hospitals, so many professionals trapped in the indifference trap. Mark gently touched her face. And we'll do it together, one step at a time. Entrenched systems don't change overnight, Emily reflected. But each life touched, each professional inspired, each patient treated with dignity. It's a wave that grows, Mark agreed, and it's already spreading beyond what we can see. Indeed, at that moment, in some other hospital, some other healthcare professional was making a similar choice, choosing compassion over protocol, humanity over rules. The silent revolution, initiated by a seemingly casual encounter between a compassionate nurse and a homeless man who wasn't what he seemed, would continue advancing, without fanfare, but with the transformative power of small acts of kindness that, united, have the power to change the world. In a system that values profit above life, a single act of compassion can trigger a revolution. Share this story if you also believe that kindness can still change the world.